In the grand symphony of life, each morning opens like a fresh score, untouched, unwritten, awaiting the notes you choose to play. The dawn carries with it not merely light, but the sacred whisper of possibility. The moment your eyes open, you are given the brush to paint the day upon the canvas of eternity. What you declare in those first moments sets the tone, draws the colors, and summons the players to your stage. The universe responds unfailingly to the vibration you send forth. Every thought is a seed, every word, a command. To speak with conviction is to write a decree that heaven itself rushes to fulfill. When you speak in harmony with divine law, life becomes a stream flowing in perfect ease, carrying to you every provision, opportunity, and joy you could desire. It is not the circumstances that shape the soul's song, but the soul's declaration that shapes the circumstances. The mind is a garden in which weeds of doubt and flowers of faith compete for root. If you begin the day sowing certainty, gratitude, and vision, you align yourself with the invisible power that governs all creation. That power never fails, it only waits to be claimed. To start strong is more than waking with energy. It is waking with spiritual authority. It is standing upon the unseen rock of truth before your feet even touch the floor. It is recognizing that the day before you is not random, but a sacred appointment. Every encounter, every opportunity, every challenge is but a stepping stone placed by divine intelligence for your good. Daily affirmations are not idle words, they are golden keys. They unlock doors that appear closed, dissolve barriers that seem impenetrable, and magnetize to you the right people, the right ideas, and the right events at the right time. Spoken in faith, they are living forces, moving ahead of you to prepare the way. When you affirm your success before it is visible, you are like the gardener who waters the seed, though no green shoot yet shows above the soil. You know as surely as the sun will rise, that what you plant in thought and word will blossom in due season. Faith does not ask for evidence. It creates it. Let this be your practice. To rise each morning as though the world is already conspiring for your triumph. Speak to the day as a trusted friend who brings you gifts. Command your mind to dwell only on what uplifts and empowers. Align your words with your highest vision, and watch as reality reshapes itself to match the picture you hold within. In the following affirmations, you will find 9 simple yet potent declarations, each a shaft of light to pierce the clouds of doubt, each a stepping stone across the river of limitation. Begin each day with them, not as a ritual of habit, but as an act of creation. The strength you start with will be the strength that carries you through. The moment the first light of dawn touches the sky, you are offered a rare and powerful gift, the unshaped essence of a new day. Morning is not simply the beginning of a sequence of hours, it is the birth of an entirely new creation. The mind upon waking is as fresh soil, untrampled by the footsteps of yesterday's worries, unmarked by the weight of unfinished tasks. In those early moments, your thoughts and words are more than idle musings. They are the architects of your reality, laying the foundation upon which every experience of the day will be built. Just as a sculptor begins with raw stone and strikes the first deliberate chisel mark, you begin your day with the raw material of infinite possibility. The very first words you speak to yourself, whether aloud or within the silent chambers of your mind, carry a potency that is unmatched at any other time. Your morning declarations do not merely describe what you hope will happen. They set the energetic vibration that calls forth the form, the people, the events, and the outcomes that will populate your day. Think of the morning as a blank page handed to you by the hand of life itself. The first sentences you write upon it are not easily erased. They create the theme and rhythm to which the rest of the day's story will dance. If your early words are filled with gratitude, strength, clarity, and expectancy, you summon those very qualities into manifestation. If your words lean toward worry, lack, or frustration, you unknowingly weave those threads into the fabric of your experience. The universe is a faithful echo. It reflects back the tone you set at the start. It is in these first moments that the mind is most receptive, for it has not yet been cluttered by the noise of demands, distractions, and external influences. The conscious mind is like a gatekeeper, and in the morning, that gate stands open. Whatever declarations you allow through in this time will sink deeply into the fertile soil of the subconscious. where they will grow roots and bear fruit throughout the day. When you speak with intention, you are planting seeds that will bloom in your actions, in your encounters, and in the way you perceive each unfolding moment. Consider how a musician tunes their instrument before a performance. They do not wait until midway through the symphony to correct the notes. They begin in harmony, knowing that the initial tuning will carry through every piece they play. Your morning declarations are the tuning of your own instrument. They bring your thoughts, emotions, and intentions into alignment so that the melody of your day rings clear and strong. If the tuning is discordant, no matter how skillfully you play, an underlying tension will remain. But if the tuning is pure, even unexpected challenges can be met with grace. For your inner frequency is already steady. Some may rise and allow the mind to wander aimlessly into yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's fears. They wake in reaction rather than creation, letting the first impressions of the day be shaped by chance or circumstance. But to start with deliberate declarations is to claim mastery over the unseen currents that guide your steps. It is to say, I am the author here. I will speak the tone into being before the world attempts to write it for me. Such a stance transforms even the most ordinary morning into a sacred ritual of creation. This is why it is said that the first thoughts of the morning hold the most power. The mind is like a lake at dawn, still, reflective, undisturbed. Into that stillness, a single word or thought is like a pebble cast into water, sending ripples outward until they touch every shore of your experience. Choose a thought of strength, and strength will ripple into your conversations, your decisions, your posture, and even the way you carry yourself through crowded streets. Choose a thought of peace, and peace will follow you like a quiet companion, softening the edges of whatever the day may bring. The potency of morning declarations lies not in their volume, but in their clarity and conviction. You do not need to shout your intentions to the world. Even a whisper, if spoken with faith and certainty, carries the force of creation. The unseen laws of life respond not to the loudest voice, but to the truest. When you rise and declare, "This is a day of opportunity, of joy, of provision," you are not merely hoping these things will appear. You are aligning yourself with the reality in which they already exist, allowing them to flow toward you unhindered. Think of the captain of a great ship setting the course at first light. They do not drift aimlessly, allowing the currents to decide their destination. They fix their bearings with precision, knowing that even the smallest adjustment in the morning will determine where they arrive by nightfall. In the same way, your first declarations adjust the direction of your entire day. Even a subtle shift, from thoughts of lack to thoughts of abundance, from doubt to assurance, from fear to courage, can change the landscape of every experience that follows. When practiced consistently, this morning ritual becomes a form of spiritual conditioning. It trains the mind to look for the best, to expect the best, to believe in the best. Over time, you will find that circumstances begin to bend toward your declarations, as though the outer world has learned to obey the song you sing at dawn. Opportunities seem to appear from nowhere. Solutions reveal themselves without strain, and even challenges are transformed into stepping stones. For you have already declared victory before the day began. It is not enough to speak these declarations mechanically, without heart. Words must be infused with feeling, for it is feeling that stamps them with creative force. The words are the blueprint, but the emotion is the power that brings the blueprint into form. When you speak your morning declarations, see the images in your mind. Feel the truth of them in your body, and allow the certainty to settle deep into your spirit. This combination of word, image, and emotion is the triad of manifestation that shapes your day from the very first breath. The every thought that rises in the mind, and every word that passes through the lips carries within it the seed of creation. Nothing in the realm of experience appears without first existing in the invisible form of an idea or a spoken declaration. Thought is the blueprint. Words are the command that calls the blueprint into form. This is not a poetic metaphor, but a law as constant as gravity. What is impressed upon the mind and spoken with conviction sets into motion the forces that bring it into manifestation. Imagine each thought as a seed in the gardener's hand. The moment it is entertained with focus or repeated in the mind, It is planted in the rich soil of the subconscious. Some seeds are of beauty, abundance, health, and peace. Others are of worry, scarcity, conflict, and fear. The soil does not judge the seed, it accepts whatever is planted and begins the process of growth. In the same way, your inner world accepts every thought you allow to take root and nourishes it until it breaks the surface into your lived reality. Words act as the water and sunlight for these seeds. A fleeting thought may pass without consequence, but once it is spoken, it becomes magnified, gaining momentum and direction. Speech is thought made audible, thought made more solid in the world of form. When you speak of something repeatedly, whether it is wanted or unwanted, you are giving it life and calling it toward you. This is why careless speech can be as dangerous as planting weeds among flowers. Once spoken, a negative word sends out its roots quickly, feeding on the energy of attention until it bears fruit that you may not wish to harvest. Every great creation, every success story, every triumph begins with a thought that was believed and spoken into being. The architect first envisions the building, but it is when the plan is declared to others that the design begins to take shape. The artist conceives of a painting in the mind, but it is the spoken intention to create it that gathers the materials and clears the space for the work. Thoughts initiate the process, but words set the process in motion with clarity and purpose. When you understand that every thought and word is a seed, you begin to treat them with the same care a wise farmer treats his crops. You no longer plant without purpose, nor do you speak without awareness. You recognize that what you habitually think and say forms the field in which you will later walk. The mind becomes a place of deliberate planting, and the tongue becomes an instrument of precise cultivation. The quality of the seed determines the quality of the harvest. A mind filled with self-belief, gratitude, and expectancy will produce a life rich in opportunities, blessings, and joy. A mind left untended, where doubt and resentment grow unchecked, will yield experiences of the same nature. This is not superstition, but cause and effect at its most subtle level. You cannot continually plant seeds of fear and expect to reap a harvest of peace. You cannot sow thoughts of limitation and expect the fruits of abundance. To think with intention is to choose the seed before planting it. To speak with intention is to water and nourish only what you desire to see grow. When you speak of your goals as though they are already achieved, you are fertilizing the seed of success. When you speak with gratitude for blessings yet unseen, you are strengthening their roots in the unseen realm, making their arrival inevitable. The law responds to the dominant vibration of your thought and speech, arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities to reflect it back to you. It is important to remember that seeds do not sprout overnight. A single thought or word may not bear visible fruit immediately, but repeated focus creates a steady stream of nourishment that ensures growth. In the same way that a farmer does not dig up the seed each day to check if it has sprouted, you must resist the urge to doubt or contradict your own planting. When you think or speak in opposition to your desired outcome, you are pulling up the seed before it has a chance to take root. Consistency in thought and speech is the secret to a strong and fruitful harvest. The energy behind the thought and word is as important as the thought and word themselves. A declaration spoken with doubt is like planting a seed in barren soil. It has little chance of flourishing. A declaration spoken with conviction, however, sends deep roots into the subconscious and begins drawing nourishment from every available source. Feeling is the force that activates the seed, giving it the vitality to grow strong and bear fruit. This is why the combination of belief, emotion, and spoken word is so potent. It aligns thought, feeling, and action into a single stream of creative power. Some imagine that their thoughts are private and their words are fleeting, but in truth, both are impressions upon the creative substance of life. The unseen listens to every declaration and responds without judgment, bringing forth in form what has been consistently planted. If you speak of lack, you strengthen lack. If you speak of abundance, you strengthen abundance. The energy is impartial. It merely reflects back the pattern it has received. This understanding calls for discipline, but it also offers great freedom. It means that no matter what the current harvest may be, you can begin today to plant new seeds through conscious thought and deliberate speech. The weeds of the past need not define the field of the future. You have the power, each moment, to choose thoughts that uplift and words that inspire, shaping the soil of your mind into the richest ground possible for the life you desire. The practice of treating every thought and word as a seed shifts the way you move through the world. You become more deliberate, more aware of the silent conversations within your mind and the audible ones you share with others. You notice when you are watering weeds with careless remarks, or when you are nourishing your vision with affirmations of truth and power. Over time, this awareness becomes second nature, and your mind becomes a garden of carefully chosen creations, each one bearing the mark of your intention and your belief. Success is not born only from action, effort, or opportunity. It begins in a place that cannot be seen but can be deeply felt. The seat of spiritual authority and alignment. To stand in this authority is to recognize that you are not a passive figure in life's unfolding, but a co-creator with the invisible laws that govern all manifestation. Before the first step is taken, before a single task is begun, the soul must take its rightful position, fully aligned with the source of power that flows through all things. This is where true success is conceived. Spiritual authority is not arrogance, nor is it the forceful will of the ego. It is the calm and certain knowledge that you are connected to a greater intelligence, one that moves in perfect order and harmony. When you wake and choose to operate from this center, you are not merely reacting to the events of the day. You are directing them, consciously or unconsciously, through the vibration you carry. Alignment is the act of bringing your thoughts, emotions, words, and actions into harmony with this higher order, so that every movement you make is supported by a power greater than your own personal effort. Many begin their day in a scattered state, pulled in several directions by obligations, worries, and unfinished tasks. Their energy is divided, their focus clouded, and their sense of control diminished. But one who begins the day by first anchoring in spiritual authority is like the leader of an orchestra who stands before the musicians, lifts the baton, and ensures every instrument is tuned and ready. The outer performance flows with grace, because the inner order has been established before a single note is played. To live in alignment is to remember that the world responds not to your outer striving alone, but to the state of consciousness you maintain. A task performed in agitation produces results that reflect that agitation. The same task performed in calm confidence carries a different energy entirely, one that draws cooperation and opportunity. This is why success begins not with the first action on your list, but with the first alignment of your spirit to its highest truth. You cannot build a strong house on an unstable foundation. Likewise, you cannot sustain success on a foundation of doubt, fear, or disconnection from your own inner source. When you rise in the morning and take a moment to center yourself, to affirm your connection to the infinite intelligence that guides all life, you are stepping into your authority. You are silently declaring, I am not at the mercy of chance. I am aligned with the order of the universe, and I direct my steps from this place of power. This shift in consciousness transforms the way you meet the world. Challenges become opportunities for growth, delays become pauses of divine timing, and even obstacles become instruments in the unfolding of your success. Alignment is not simply a matter of positive thinking. It is the practice of coming into resonance with your true self. The self that is not limited by appearances. The self that knows it is connected to an endless source of supply, inspiration, and guidance. In this state, your actions are infused with clarity. You do not scatter your energy chasing every possibility. You are drawn toward the right path with a sense of certainty that defies external logic. Others may see only coincidence in the way doors open for you, but you know that it is the natural consequence of moving in harmony with the laws that govern all creation. Spiritual authority also brings with it a steadiness that external events cannot shake. Success built solely on outer conditions is fragile. It can be toppled by sudden change, unexpected competition, or shifting circumstances. But success that springs from alignment with inner truth has deep roots, like a great tree that remains unmoved by the changing seasons. Even in moments when the outer appearance suggests delay or difficulty, you stand in the unshakable, knowing that the greater order is still at work, arranging every detail for your ultimate good. When this alignment is maintained, the quality of your actions changes. You act with intention rather than urgency, with clarity rather than confusion, with faith rather than fear. The smallest step, when taken from this place, carries more creative force than 100 actions born of scattered effort. Time bends in your favor. Resources present themselves, and the right people seem to arrive just when they are needed. This is not chance. It is the natural result of living from spiritual authority. To operate in this way requires conscious practice. It means beginning each day by returning to your center, quieting the noise of the outer world, and aligning with the truth of who you are and what you are here to do. It means speaking words that affirm your connection to the source of all success, and allowing those words to shape your thoughts and emotions. It means choosing your direction, not from a place of desperation or fear, but from the inner knowing that every step you take is guided and supported. Those who live in alignment do not waste energy fighting against the current of life. They move with it, trusting that it leads to the perfect destination. They do not rely solely on their own strength, for they know that the strength they call upon flows from an infinite source. They are unshaken by temporary appearances because they understand that the invisible precedes the visible, and that the reality they hold in consciousness will, in time, take form in the outer world. From this place of spiritual authority, success is not a distant goal to be pursued, but a state of being that is expressed in every thought, word, and action. You do not strive to become successful. You live as one who already is, and the outer world shapes itself to match that inner truth. You carry yourself differently, you speak differently, you make decisions differently, because you know that you are not simply navigating the day. You are directing it from a position of alignment with the highest laws of life. Affirmations are not mere strings of pleasant words meant to inspire momentary comfort. They are living forces, carrying within them the very blueprint of the reality they declare. Every time an affirmation is spoken with conviction, it sends forth a vibrational command into the unseen substance of life, calling that reality into being. These declarations do not linger passively in the air. They move, they arrange. They draw circumstances and opportunities into alignment with the truth they proclaim. To understand affirmations in this way is to recognize them not as wishful thinking, but as tools of deliberate creation. When a truth is spoken repeatedly, with emotion and faith, it begins to impress itself upon the subconscious mind. The subconscious, once impressed, acts without question, seeking ways to express the belief in the outer world. It communicates with the universal intelligence that permeates all things, and together they orchestrate the details necessary to bring the spoken word into form. This is why affirmations must be treated as living companions in your journey toward success. They are not static phrases, but currents of power flowing ahead of you, preparing the path you will walk. Each affirmation is a seed infused with energy. Some seeds sprout quickly, bringing visible change within days or weeks. Others grow silently beneath the surface, their roots stretching deep before the first green shoot appears. But the process is the same. The moment you affirm something as truth, you plant it in the soil of your consciousness, and with each repetition, you water and nourish it until it becomes an unshakable reality in your mind. Once it is real to you inwardly, the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. The power of affirmations lies in their ability to bypass the critical, doubting nature of the conscious mind and speak directly to the deeper self that governs action and perception. By repeating a statement of truth, you replace patterns of thought that no longer serve you with patterns that align with your highest vision. Over time, these new patterns become automatic, shaping your decisions, your outlook, and the way you interpret events. A person who has affirmed, "Everything I need comes to me in perfect timing," over and over will begin to notice opportunities arriving, just when they are required. Not because the world has suddenly changed, but because their perception has shifted to recognize and receive what was always available. Affirmations also act as energetic beacons. When you declare a truth, you emit a signal into the field of possibility, and that signal draws to you the people, resources, and circumstances that match it. The one who daily affirms their worth and capability begins to encounter others who recognize and value those qualities. The one who affirms their financial abundance starts to perceive avenues of income or investment that were previously hidden. It is not that these opportunities did not exist before. They were simply not within the range of awareness. The affirmation widens that range until the opportunities become clear and accessible. It is important to understand that affirmations are most effective when spoken as if the desired state is already true. The mind does not operate well when instructed to focus on the absence of something, for it will dwell on the lack rather than the fulfillment. Saying, "I will be successful," keeps success as a future event always just out of reach. Saying, "I am successful," plants the seed in the present, where it can take root and grow. The present tense affirmation claims the reality now, and the subconscious accepts it as the current state, mobilizing all its resources to make it visible. The tone and feeling with which an affirmation is spoken matter greatly. Words uttered mechanically, without emotional engagement, carry little creative force. But when the voice is steady, the breath is deep, and the statement is infused with certainty, the affirmation becomes a living vibration that resonates through mind and body. The heart must be engaged for the words to take hold. Belief is not merely an intellectual exercise, but an energetic one. This is why combining affirmations with visualization amplifies their power. When you see in your mind's eye the picture your words describe, and you feel as though it is already real, you are impressing the subconscious with both image and sound, creating a complete sensory imprint. There is also a rhythm to using affirmations. Repetition at regular intervals strengthens the imprint, much as consistent watering nourishes a growing plant. Speaking affirmations upon waking and before sleeping is especially potent, for in these moments, the mind is most receptive and the gate to the subconscious is wide open. These times bookend the day with intention, sending your declarations into the night and the morning as guiding principles for your actions, thoughts, and experiences. Affirmations work not only to create new realities, but also to dissolve the power of old, limiting beliefs. Many carry unconscious affirmations formed in childhood or through repeated negative experiences. Statements such as, "Nothing ever works out for me," or "I'm not good enough." These silent declarations shape life as surely as conscious ones do. By replacing them with intentional, empowering affirmations, you rewrite the mental script and shift the trajectory of your experiences. It is like clearing away stones from a riverbed so that the current of life can flow freely toward your desired destination. The consistent use of affirmations transforms not only your outer circumstances, but also your inner state. A person who affirms their calm and centered nature will find themselves responding to challenges with greater poise. One who affirms their clarity of mind will notice solutions appearing where before there was only confusion. The living force of the affirmation reshapes thought patterns, emotions, and behaviors until the new state becomes second nature. Affirmations also carry a subtle but powerful influence on how others respond to you. The energy you project through your self-declarations becomes part of your presence, often before you speak a word aloud. People sense confidence, optimism, and integrity in someone who has built their inner world with affirmations of worth and capability. This magnetic quality draws cooperative relationships, beneficial alliances, and situations that further reinforce the truth you have been affirming. To use affirmations is to consciously participate in the creation of your life, directing the currents of thought and energy toward a chosen outcome. Each declaration you make becomes a living companion, working on your behalf in ways you may never fully see. They move ahead of you into situations you have yet to encounter, softening resistance, opening doors, and preparing the ground for your arrival. They continue their work silently, even when you are not actively thinking about them. For the vibration they set in motion endures beyond the moment they are spoken. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the unseen and the seen, the unformed and the formed. It is the quiet, unwavering certainty that the good you have spoken and envisioned already exists in substance, waiting only for the right moment to appear. Faith speaks before evidence appears because it does not rely on what the eyes can see or the hands can touch. It relies on the deeper knowing that the laws of life are precise, unfailing, and impartial. To live and speak in faith is to declare the harvest before the first seedling pushes through the soil. When you speak in faith, you are not pretending or engaging in hopeful guessing. You are standing in alignment with the truth that what is real in spirit will, in time, be made real in matter. The farmer who plants in spring does not doubt that the crop will grow simply because he cannot yet see it. He works the land, waters the ground, and protects the seeds from harm, all while speaking of the harvest as certain. This is the same stance one takes when affirming a truth before it shows itself in form. You are planting in the unseen and trusting the process that will bring it into sight. Faith understands that appearances are temporary and often deceptive. A bank account may show a small balance, yet faith affirms abundance. The body may feel weary, yet faith affirms strength and vitality. The path ahead may appear unclear, yet faith affirms guidance and direction. This is not self-deception, it is the refusal to give power to passing conditions when a deeper truth has already been claimed. Faith sees through the fog of circumstance to the clear horizon beyond. To speak in faith is to exercise creative authority over your reality. Words spoken in doubt are like planting seeds, and then digging them up each day to see if they have sprouted. There is no steady growth. Words spoken in faith plant the seed and leave it to germinate, confident that it is already becoming what it was meant to be. This is why faith is active, not passive. It continues to speak, to affirm, and to align with the vision, regardless of what the senses may report. Faith also shapes perception. When you truly believe something is on its way to you, you begin to notice signs and opportunities that you would have otherwise overlooked. Your mind, tuned to the frequency of the desired outcome, recognizes resources, ideas, and people that can help bring it into form. This shift in awareness is not coincidence. It is the natural consequence of aligning your inner world with your spoken declaration. The essence of faith is expectancy. Expectancy is a magnet, it draws toward you the things you anticipate. When your expectation is rooted in doubt, you draw more evidence to support that doubt. When your expectation is rooted in certainty, you draw evidence to support that certainty. Speaking in faith is like sending out a signal that attracts matching frequencies from the field of possibility. The stronger and clearer the signal, the swifter and surer the return. Faith does not demand to know how the outcome will be achieved, it only holds firmly to the fact that it will. The how belongs to the greater intelligence that orchestrates all events with perfect timing and precision. By releasing the need to control the process, you remove the resistance that slows the unfolding. This surrender is not giving up. It is stepping back so that the infinite can arrange the steps more perfectly than your limited perspective could imagine. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is that it is not shaken by delay. Delay is not denial, it is often preparation. Just as a seed cannot be rushed to maturity without destroying it, so too must certain outcomes be allowed to develop in their own season. Faith speaks with the same conviction on day 1 as it does on day 100, because it measures progress not by visible milestones, but by the certainty of the unseen reality. Faith is strengthened through practice. Every time you speak a truth before you see it and then witness it appear, your trust in the process deepens. Over time, this becomes a way of living, speaking health in the midst of illness, speaking provision in the midst of lack, speaking peace in the midst of chaos. In each case, the words you choose are not dictated by the temporary condition, but by the eternal truth you have claimed as your own. Speaking in faith also influences the emotional atmosphere you carry. Words of doubt bring heaviness, tension, and discouragement, while words of faith bring lightness, confidence, and peace. This shift in emotional state is not merely for comfort, it is a vital part of creation. Your emotional vibration shapes the way life responds to you, and faith naturally produces a vibration that draws harmony and success. In moments when evidence seems entirely absent, faith speaks even louder. This is the proving ground where your conviction is tested. Anyone can affirm abundance when surrounded by abundance. The real creative power is shown when you affirm it in the face of lack. Anyone can speak of health when feeling well. The mastery comes when you speak it in the midst of challenge. This ability to hold the vision steady, regardless of appearances, is what separates fleeting hope from unshakable faith. Faith also works silently in the background, influencing others and the environment without your conscious effort. The calm certainty you carry is felt by those around you, often without a word being spoken. People are drawn to the one who moves with quiet assurance, sensing that this person has an inner compass pointing toward inevitable success. This influence can shift interactions, open doors, and inspire cooperation from unexpected places. When faith becomes your default state, your spoken words take on new weight. They are not empty phrases or ungrounded optimism. They are declarations backed by the full force of your belief. Such words carry a creative potency that accelerates the manifestation process, for the universe responds most powerfully to conviction free of contradiction. You speak once, you believe always, and the rest unfolds in perfect order. The practice of speaking in faith before evidence appears transforms the relationship between thought, word, and experience. It removes the gap between what is claimed and what is lived, until your inner reality and outer reality are in harmony. The spoken word becomes both the seed and the harvest, for in the moment you affirm it with unwavering belief, you have already received it in essence. And it is only a matter of time before it takes form in the world around you,